Oh, this is going to be a fun topic.
Really?
I have a feeling this one is going to be really interesting.
All right, so hit me up.
Really interesting. Maybe I'm selling it a little too much, and I'm sure in your relationship, you you go through this. I'd be surprised if you don't. We want to say hi to Rika Marie 07. That's her handle on Instagram. She just discovered the podcast and she started listening on her
Thank
walks.
you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Rika. And we always welcome topic suggestions. And I thought this was interesting to discuss.
Okay.
And Rika says she's very curious to know what you think about having each other's passwords to accounts. So her examples are email, phone, social media, and also what you think about the app where you can locate one another. We have it as a family to locate the kids as well, but as a couple, is it too much? I think of it as a safety tool more than anything and not so much as a spy tool. My colleagues disagree. They are men, by the way. LOL. I thought that was very interesting because I've made comments to you sometimes.
Sometimes. All the time. It's partially my fault too, though.
I just find, and I'll start with this. I just find the fact that these things are attached at our hip.
They are.
And if we don't answer the phone or answer a text message, it's like the end of the world. I think we're all slightly guilty of that.
Of course we are.
But you're like really guilty of that.
Yeah, I do, especially with you.
Oh.
Like you and my mom, because you're like the two people who answer the phone every time I call or respond to a text message right away. But when you don't, and I know that you're not at work, and I know what your routine is, and you're not answering me, I get worried. It's my automatic reaction is I'm going to worry. I know you finish work at 9 o'clock, so by somewhere between 9:15, 9:30, you're going to call me. If you don't, I think you're in a car accident. I think something happened, or most of the times it's you're hanging back at work because you're talking to your colleagues who you haven't seen in a while.
But I have to let you know that. I have to write you a text
No,
and say,
you
hey,
don't.
babe, I'm talking to my colleagues. I will call you back later. But how many times?
You can't text that really quickly in a couple of seconds?
How many times? I know this doesn't even answer Rika's question. It's just I thought.
Sorry, we'll get back to her
we'll
question.
Get to the question. I can think of so many times in the last 5 years where I legit wasn't looking at my phone.
Had it on silent. It's on silent all the time.
I work in live radio.
I know you don't want it to distract you during the show. I get that.
I've gone on my rant about notifications before. I don't have to do that again. And I can't. There's so many times where you literally have written so many messages. Babe, you okay?
You okay?
Babe,
Where are you? Babe? Hello? Yes, I know.
Why?
Why? Because I worry about you.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it's my problem. It's my
You're not alone. I know there's
concerns about you. I just want to make sure you're safe, especially like when the weather's not good, and I want to make sure that you're driving safely and get home in one piece. And I just want to know you're okay.
But what's funny is that it's like you need the update.
Yes, I like the update. That's my OCD anal part of me. I need to know where you are, what you're doing, and what time you're going to be home. And I know I'm being really
all the guys listening,
the guys are all rolling. They're all rolling their eyes right now.
They sympathize with me because a lot of us are just different. We don't need to kind of. I do like to touch base with you sometimes.
You're very good at that, though.
I'm okay with that.
You are good at that.
I was way worse in previous relationships. I was way worse, but
I'm glad things changed with you and I.
No, but sometimes I'm bad with you, and you let me know.
Oh, you are. Oh my God, there was this one time you took a lot of our baby gear and you brought it to our friend.
By the way, you sound like the girl in American Pie there.
Oh, yeah,
by the way,
is
this my time?
Is one time?
Okay, continue.
You dropped off a few things at our friend's house who lives like 2 minutes away from here. And you're like, oh, okay. Goes, I'm just going to drop off the stuff at so-and-so's house. And then I'm going to gas up and come back home. Sure, no problem. That should take a total of 20 minutes? Half an hour tops?
She lives close.
She's literally 2-minute drive away. And after an hour, and I'm trying to call you, you weren't answering. You weren't returning any text messages.
What did you think? We were having an affair?
No, but I got worried because you told me exactly what you were going to do. And then you didn't come home within the time that I had imagined in my head. 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is. And then you went on to tell me that you left your phone in the car. And at least in the previous years or previous relationships, I maybe would have called my friend and be like, hey, is Vinny there?
Excessive.
But I didn't even do that. I trusted that everything was okay.
Haven't you done that at one point, though?
Maybe I did. Yes, I did. I did that once. I remember when your grandmother passed away. you were with a mutual friend of ours. You were having coffee at a cafe, and
Okay,
you
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
answering
yeah.
your phone. So I knew you were with him,
Yeah.
and I texted him, and then right away you called me.
Okay. I feel like there's more, but anyways.
I don't know. This is the one that just popped on the top of my head. I was like, it's really important. I need to speak to you.
Fine. There's exceptions to the rule, but that time legit was. It was hilarious because I went to talk to your friend outside. It was in the summer, right?
It was in summer, yeah.
And we were just shooting the shit. Next thing you know, it's 45 minutes, almost an hour.
It was an hour.
And I remember even telling your friend, like, for sure she's trying to call me. For sure she thinks I'm dead.
Because you both know me. Yes, of course I thought you were dead. Sorry.
Even this morning, actually, and it's funny because we didn't
now?
talk about. I drove Sia to daycare. I'm off. I'm not doing my show this week or next, so I drove our daughter to daycare, and I just decided to go for a little drive. I'm surprised because we get notifications when you see our daughter getting signed in.
And I saw. And you got home 20 minutes after she was signed in.
And the daycare is like 3 minutes away. Why didn't you call me or text me?
I was busy with Maya, and I kind of had a feeling you were just driving around. Or you didn't want to come back home because we had gotten into an argument, and I don't blame you for wanting to get some air. And then nonetheless, you came home, and you're like, I'm going for a walk for 10 minutes. 10 minutes was an hour.
Yeah, but usually you write to me, you okay, babe? Where do you think I was walking? And then like some car.
But even when you're walking and when you go out at night sometimes for a walk, it's icy. You know, you're wearing black clothes. Someone can hit you. I don't know. My mind brings me to another place.
Fine.
And I always just want to know that you're safe. That's all.
At least it shows you care. And trust me, I do think of that with you. I'm just, maybe I don't.
99% of the time I am home. And if I am not answering my phone, it's because I'm changing a diaper, giving a bath, feeding a baby, playing with children.
At least it shows you care. But, it's funny.
But we don't really keep tabs on each other.
No. But it's funny because we'll get back to the question in a sec. But there's just one thing I wanted to mention. There's a comedian that said this, and I forget which comedian it was. He goes, do you know why there was nobody splitting up back in the day? It's because the man used to leave at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning, and he would come back. Yeah, he'd go to work all day, maybe a touch base at lunch, or a phone call from a landline, say, hey, how are you? And then come home, roll in around 5:30, 6:30, have dinner together.
And la vie est belle.
And there was no expectation, because we see this even with...
That's the problem today. It's expectation. You just nailed it.
And it's going to Rika's question about keeping tabs with apps, and we have this expectation now with our children too, and we're not there yet, so we can't relate to this.
We will be one day, unfortunately.
But who was I talking to the other day? It was our neighbor, and we were saying how back in the day I used to, and I know it's a different world, and I bet you we're going to be the same as parents. Back in the day, I'd leave my house to go play hockey with some of the neighbors, play street hockey or play basketball or play hide and go seek or American Werewolf, Cops and Robbers. They'd be like, okay, as long as I was back for supper, I'd be gone for like 6 hours in the afternoon.
But there was no way for your parents to keep a tab on you.
No, but they didn't. It didn't really cross their mind.
They didn't. This is also the time when we used to leave our front doors unlocked and people walk in and out of their house as free as they go. But that's not the case anymore today.
I used to literally bike from my house in Dorval to the old Port of Montreal when I was like 12, and all I had to do was be home for lunch. It was all about the meals. Be home for lunch, be home for supper, right? Like, we got to be fed.
Right.
Anyways, back to Rika's question, and it's funny because we were talking about the app. I know some couples like that, and it's perfectly healthy. It's perfectly normal. They have the Find My iPhone app on their partner. So, like, let's say you can't get a hold of me for 45 minutes, an hour. You would just log in and see where I am.
That's true, but I feel like
it's intrusive.
It's intrusive, yes.
But there's couples who swear by it.
We're not there. If we maybe had issues, or if I question your fidelity, then I would question every move you make and where you are. If you tell me you're in one place, and then be like, is he really there, or is he cheating on me? Then I would maybe be more attached to using those apps and locate my husband, or even I would put a GPS tracker on your car.
Yeah, I probably already have one. It's this.
Yeah, it's your wedding band. Yeah,
right
of course.
This is GPS. This is a camera. This is a microphone. I'm surprised they don't make rings like that. I'm
sure they do.
I'm sure. If anything, I'm going to make it.
It must exist somewhere in the world.
But
we're not there.
No, we're not the type of couple to do that.
Type of couple, no.
What about with kids? Because that's another discussion. When your kid is like, has their first phone, and they're like,
we're not there yet.
We're not there yet, and we can't judge.
No. We can't relate to couples who are listening and go through that right now with teenagers.
I understand
young adults.
I understand with children a little more, because now the world is crazy, and you give them a phone, you want to make sure they're okay, you're protective, they're younger, they're like 12, 13, 14. I understand it to a certain degree, but if you're an adult, I don't think you should.
What did our parents do back then?
I know. It's just it's a different time.
I would tell my parents, I'm going here, I'm going there with this person, I'll be home at this time. My parents always knew where I was, who I was with, and what time I'd be home.
Yeah, they still do.
They still do, of course, because it's just our relationship.
And the other question.
Now they also know where you are 24/7.
It's worse. Trust me, I got tabs on me all the time.
My mother wakes up at 6 o'clock just to listen to you and make sure you're on the air.
Yeah, sometimes my battery just happens to die. Just by accident. Another question she asked, and it's something we can't relate to now, but I feel like in past relationships we can. When she was talking about, Rika asked about passwords. Yeah. And it's something that
you experienced a lot.
I experienced it where I had my suspicions, so I would go in there, and I felt guilty about it. And I believe that when you're in a really secure place, when you're in a really strong relationship, you don't need any of that.
You don't need it. No, I agree.
I think it's ridiculous.
Not once in 5 years that I ever have the desire to go on your personal apps or websites, social medias, and get your password and log on.
Because I think you told me your email password, but I don't even remember it. I think it's because I had to enter it once or twice.
Yeah, and you have a good memory so that you would remember it. And usually. Plus, you use my laptop, and I've always had a password on it. So we share the password. Yeah. You know what it is.
Mind you, I do know Tina's password to her phone. She has a password on her phone.
Yes. And the only reason why I have a password is for the kids because Sia would take my phone and then she would lock me out or whatever. Yeah. So I always keep a password on, and you know what it is, and you can go on my phone as much as you want because I got nothing to hide.
I know, but I'm not going to do that. And it's also, I think it comes from a place of like insecurity or suspicion, and you have your doubts, and the little spidey senses are there. Usually 90% of the time you're right.
Well, you went through it in the past.
I went through it, but with you, it was never even it never even crossed my mind for 1 second. And I thought it would at the beginning. I had my own insecurities getting back in a relationship, and I can't say I was ever tempted, because it's weird when you're just with the right person. It just kind of makes you don't feel like you need to.
No,
right?
Not at all. I have no interest. And sometimes when I go on your computer and your tabs are all open, I just sign myself out. I don't even look through it, and I sign myself in, and that's it. I don't look through your emails. I don't look through Facebook or Instagram.
But I think, and it sounds like you think the same way, is that we don't think it's necessary if you're in a good place.
No, exactly. I agree. But, you're in a healthy, happy relationship. You should not have these desires to log into your partner's social medias and phones.
Play devil's advocate here. What if the reasoning is, well, what if something should happen to them?
Oh, well, that's another story.
I mean, you can write it down somewhere and hide it. We never did that, though.
We never did that, no. I pretty much know. I kind of know your passwords. I would be able to finagle my way in.
How?
Because you've told them to me in the past, and I have just as good as a memory as you, so I remember them. But I guess that's a great point to bring up, that in case, God forbid, something happens, you should have access to, at least an email password.
You know my passwords, huh?
Sort of.
One thing that I'm guilty of, and maybe you are as well, you listening, watching, you tend to have the same one for a lot of things. I'm terrible at that.
I do too.
They recommend not doing that. It's really bad for...
I actually think I've been better at that in the past. Yeah, I think there's variations between like Facebook, email. There is, because they forced me to in the past.
Yeah, you've had no choice.
I've had no choice.
Did that answer the question? Email, phone, social media, having each other's passwords. So I think we touched that. We did. Email, phone, social media, and spying on other people in your family.
Oh, that's in it too?
No, that's the app, Find My Phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because...
No, we're not there.
I mean, do you even know how to do it?
I don't think so. The only time you've used Find My Phone is when you couldn't find your phone and you had to go to our iPad.
And it was in the friggin' backyard. Anyways, I'm such an idiot.
Was it in the barbecue or near the barbecue?
No, it wasn't in the barbecue. It was outside on the floor in the damn snow.
And it was hard to see.
And it was but thankfully, Find My iPhone.
Thank you to our 20-year-old cousin who taught us how to find our phone, because at 35 years old, we don't know how.
That's when you feel old. and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god. But if you know to use the phone,
Never crossed our minds.
never crossed our mind. And if you know to use the phone, we highly encourage checking out our friends at Steak Blur on Instagram. You can go to @Steak Blur. You can go to steakblur.ca. Follow my page, Cousin Vinny MTL, and follow Tina. Tina's not the biggest Instagrammer, but you're a reposter,
Yes.
right?
I repost.
What's your handle? Because I always forget.
TMO_1985.
Very clever. You're bored. Very nice. So you can, if you check out mine, Cousin Vinny MTL, and also TMO_1985. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
It proves how many times I tag you or
Well,
I should know it.
recently
I
a
have
little
been,
bit
you're
more.
like- The reason why I bring that up is because you can, if you follow us, mine especially, you'll see how many times, at least a few times a week, we put up pictures and sometimes little boomerangs and videos of all the meals we've prepared with Steak Bleu, from lamb, chicken, mincemeat,
bavettes.
My God, bavettes, flank steaks,
Filet mignons.
filet mignon. Man, there's
Chicken
so
legs, chicken
legs.
thighs.
Yeah, lots of different chicken.
Yeah.
We bought my mother a chicken box because they have a chicken box as well. We bought her for Christmas. She
loved it. She did.
She loved it. She made.
And then she made us a meal with it just last weekend.
She made us some chicken with that. So there's those types of things. Chicken boxes you can get, mincemeat, which is great. Everything could be stored in your freezer for up to 2 years. It's vacuum packed, which is great for stacking your freezer if you have limited room. We've learned that it helps a lot.
Oh, it does.
Right?
It really does.
Yeah. So check them out, steakport.ca. Enter the code FAST15, all one word, and you'll get 15% off your first order, which is pretty good. So it's from $98, which is the price of a variety box they can get once a week, down to about $85. So that was fun.
So I think the first thing I'm going to do now is go and find my iPhone. I'm going to log in or figure out how to use it, so this way I know where you are all the time.
You already know. What's crazy, too, is that sometimes
I'm just joking. I'm not going to do that.
No, I know you're not, but sometimes I don't even tell you.
And I know where you are.
And I'm like, hey, baby, like, so you're at Maxi. Can you pick up some milk? I go, what the frig? Are you looking at me? Like, what?
It's true. That's happened one too many times.
It's like, how or you
well,
know,
it's like when you can read my mind. I'm like, how did you know I was thinking about that?
Yeah, that hasn't worked
When I
so
didn't
well.
even allude to that.
Lately that's not working well.
No.
Mind reading. I got to work on that. So, thanks again for listening to the podcast.
Thank you.
We appreciate it as always. Again, if you have any topic suggestions, don't be shy. Follow us on Instagram at Marriage Fastlane. You can go to Facebook too, Marriage in the Fastlane. We have a page there as well. You can listen so many different ways. There's a link to the Linktree site that has all your different platforms on how to listen to the podcast. You can watch it on YouTube as well. You can write to us in so many ways. Thank you, Rika, for the great topic suggestions. We really
Thank you, and keep them coming.
Keep them coming. We'll see you next time. That's Marriage in the Fast Lane. Bye-bye.
Bye.